and then I'm gonna go live. All right, here we go, guys. Ready?
Ready.
All right, we are live. Hello, Play Octopus driver community. It is Alex. I am back. I know I haven't been on camera a little while, but we are back. And obviously, you see I've got a couple driver friends with me. We've promoted this. We are going to be talking to 3 expert drivers who have been driving this entire time. They did not take a time out during the when the pandemic hit. And so they have graciously agreed to share their wisdom, their experiences, their routines, their knowledge about what it's been like as a rideshare driver this entire time to stay on the road, and kind of what our drivers can anticipate as more and more cities start to open back up and more drivers get out there, what the expectations can be as a driver from passengers, how you should feel just in general. So let me just quickly go around. I'll say where everybody's from, but on my left anyway, it changes every time, but we've got Dennis from Seattle. Dennis, thank
Hello.
you so much. I think you were the very first driver to sign up in Seattle, or one of the very first, right?
I believe I was one of the first 100, yes.
That's fantastic. And then on my bottom left, Dersu from Los Angeles.
Hello, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. And then, of course, right below me, Ava from Las Vegas. Sorry.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Alex.
Yes, well, we're happy to do it. So let's kick this off to make sure that this is all relevant. The name of this is The Road Ahead, but before we necessarily talk about the future of how rideshare is going to go, I just want to hear from the group here. And the idea also is just to kind of hear from different regions of the country, different opinions between you two. So I really want to hear, how it differs so drivers can anticipate. When you start your driving, I'm going to start with Dennis here. You seem like a put together person. Do you have any routines? Like, do you clean after each passenger? Do you, just tell me, what is it like to start your driving day?
Sure. So typically I'll start my day somewhere around 6 in the morning. But before I drive, I'll always make sure that the car is wiped down, sanitized, the belts, the buckles, the handles, everything that the passenger could possibly touch, and of course wipe down the tablet. And then later in the day, as later as the day goes, I'll try to make sure I vacuum the car as well. But most importantly is I'll sanitize between each passenger, making sure that they're getting in a vehicle that's fresh, it's clean, and making sure I'm protecting them as well as myself. And I do keep a mask in the vehicle at all times. So if there is a passenger that I pick up and they say, "Hey, I don't have a mask," sure, no problem. I'll provide one to you for free. And I normally keep one on my face as well during the ride, and keep the windows rolled down as well.
Yeah. So, Dersu, does that track with your routine as well? Are you very fastidious about your wiping down? What's your opinion?
Well, I agree with Dennis on being clean and having a routine like that. I don't necessarily do it every 4 hours like he does, but I make sure that I keep the car clean. I mix water and soap solution, spray it on the seats, and vacuum on a daily basis. I would say, for people that are coming back, just just stick to a routine, keep your car clean, but don't worry so much about pouring alcohol all over your car, because that may actually work against you. And the reason is some passengers get in, smell alcohol, and it's just an excuse to, if they're not happy with you, to complain with Lyft about the smell of alcohol.
I
And that
see.
is not necessarily because a driver is driving inebriated or intoxicated. It's just that there's too much. People get in, slather that disinfectant, touch the seats, and somebody else comes in and they smell the alcohol. And if they're out to get you, because one in every 100 people that just want a free ride, they're going to complain about you. So I would just say keep your car clean and have a routine.
That makes
Does that make
sense.
sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Eva, in terms of making sure that passengers feel comfortable, is that something that you address when they get in? Are you letting them know I've wiped down, that sort of thing?
No, I'm not letting them know, but the conversation is always the topic as far as what's going on. And at that particular time, if that is the topic of the conversation, I pretty much present that I'm a very clean person. A lot of people get in the back seat. So I keep like a bag right in the front seat unless there's more than two passengers, that shows that I have a seat full of Lysol wipes and Lysol spray. Then that way, and sanitizer spray. So I keep it on hand. The mask, of course, they run out very quickly. If people don't have a mask, they do ask a lot when they get in the cart, is it okay if I have one or not? Me, I give the people the choice, although they are told to wear them. I keep mine on uh, throughout every ride, but I do sanitize my car twice a day. Once in the morning before I get started, and sometimes it just depends. Sometimes on your rider. Sometimes you might have to take that extra cleanse when just things don't feel right, and go ahead and wipe down the door handles and in certain areas of the car, like the seat belts and stuff. But um yeah, I don't alcohol it down, but yes, I definitely do use the Lysol wipes on the handles and stuff.
So now, Dennis, I'm impressed. You have extra masks on hand. Do you buy those yourself?
Yeah, so I been researching online, like on Amazon, like different masks that you can buy. So I bought two boxes, and they're like $30 for like 50 masks or something odd like
Mm.
that. So that's what I do.
And then, so that's smart. That is a good answer. Have you, Dersu, had to like, deny a rider because of a mask? What's that encounter been like?
Uh, I I don't deny rights.
Okay.
Like Eva, I'm not too worried about getting myself infected. Um, People are very concerned getting into the car, and Lyft hasn't made it a policy yet. I haven't noticed anything in writing, but I think it's something that may be in writing soon. Uh, Dennis and Eva can correct me if I haven't gotten this information yet, but you're not supposed to have anybody in the front seat. And that's because of obvious reasons. You don't want to transmit to each other uh, anything just in case. But you do have to wear your mask at all times. The science is correct. This is not political. You do have to wear a mask and wash your hands. Do you
Makes
have to
sense.
wear gloves? I would say it's up to the driver if you want to wear gloves.
Mhm.
It helps. From my personal perspective and opinion, not really necessary. I think all you need is just a little bottle of disinfectant, or I forget what it's called, but it's kind of like a gel solution with alcohol,
Mhm.
and it's just you can buy it at a regular store, for less than $4. And it's a good investment because if you're worried about yourself, just wipe your hands and you'll be fine. Uh, I wouldn't worry about passengers because uh, half of them are already scared, and they get in the car with concern. So the best thing you can do is just be polite and just say that you're not worried about it, and just keep your mask on.
So,
And
uh,
I heard of drivers that have canceled rides on people, but I would
yeah,
say
Eva,
not
do
necessary.
you agree with that? If a passenger gets in without a mask, how do you feel?
I feel the same way.
Okay.
I don't, really be in fear as far as, you know, because I have my mask on for protection for them. So
Mhm.
if I mean, us both having the mask on to me really isn't, isn't really, you know, a big thing. So like, but I wear mine. So if they don't have theirs, I let them know, it's okay. But for the better protection of yourself, if drivers prefer, but I have heard where other drivers have denied rides, when they get in, they're like, are you going to deny me my ride because I don't have my mask? Because some people have asked that. I was like, if you don't have it, it's okay. I have mine. So I'm not going to deny nobody of of a ride.
Okay, well, I mean, it's obviously your prerogative, and that's generous. It's ride share, right? So it's up to you guys to decide. So,
Can I say something else,
of course,
Alex?
absolutely, yes, please.
So if you know the science of the virus, the outer layer of the virus is made out of fat. So what dissolves fat?
Mhm.
Soap. So
Right.
if
So keep
there's
washing your
concern,
hands, right?
if there's concern about a passenger because he didn't have a mask, or he looked sick, or whatever, just carry with you in the trunk somewhere, uh, a bottle of water mixed with soap, a soapy water, and just wipe down any time that you feel that is necessary. But other than that, I mean, people are relatively clean, and I don't think aside of the bad passengers that make a mess, but most people are clean, and usually they're putting their own disinfectant on. So I would just say just carry a little bottle of water mixed with soapy water, and you'll be fine.
Thank you. That does make sense, actually. All right. So obviously, none of you guys necessarily feel vindictive towards a passenger that doesn't want to wear a mask. But what about yourself? Do you wear your mask the entire time you're driving, Dennis?
No, that is probably the most uncomfortable thing to do is probably wearing it while there's no one else in the car. So I just take it off and roll down my windows and just get some fresh air from there.
I'm going to share my screen real fast. Dennis, how do you feel about the maybe some drivers haven't seen this yet. Maybe you can see it here. The verification to verify your mask. Can you walk us through quickly the steps to how to, the frequency and like what it means to get your mask verified?
So this looks like it's the Uber policy,
Oh,
which I'm not
I'm
familiar
sorry.
with.
Sorry, I'll jump down to Eva then. Can you show us this?
Yes, that is the Uber one. I see it as well. That's what Uber asks you. So when you first initially log on, before you can click go online, you have to verify that you're wearing a face covering. Then it prompts you to take a picture. And once you take the photo, it will prompt you to go to the next check mark to, say I won't drive if I have the COVID-19 or related symptoms. And it also says, hey, I sanitize my vehicle every day and I wash and sanitize my hands.
How
So then
often
once
do you have to do this?
every single time, every single time, ever since they started this, maybe I want to say about a week or 2 weeks ago, this started. But I also noticed today that just a couple of hours ago, I actually was able to hit go online without having to do that. But every day for the last 2 weeks, I've had to do it even if you log off for just a minute and go back on, you have to take the picture every time. But I just noticed within the last hour or two that it switched. So I don't know if it was just because I don't know, maybe people are complaining and maybe they're tired of doing it, because I can be honestly say I've been more on the Lyft platform because it is kind of the picture part of it. If you're in between, both apps and you decide, okay, let me turn the Uber back on, and you got to go through that, you have to stop to take the picture. You can't be driving to turn the app back on. You have to actually stop and take that picture and then go through each check mark. And it's like, okay, this is too much.
And so, Dersu, do you feel like that compels you to drive more at all?
Well, Lyft doesn't really require any check marks or pictures.
Okay.
As far as I've noticed,
So,
but they do have a tutorial with information that you can take, and I advise anybody coming back to rideshare to look at your dashboard and look at your help tabs and take any of the tutorials that seem required, because for whatever reason, Lyft could, at some point, if they're not happy about something, suspend your account because you're not complying with their policies. And I'm not saying they're going to do it, but I'm saying it's a good idea to check your help tab and take those tutorials as much as you can. And it's a one-time only. It's not, you don't have to do it every day. Kind of like going to the airports. They give you the information, what to do, what not to do. You take it once and you're done.
All right, so that makes sense. Let me just move on here. So listen, we all knew that there was a time not too long ago where there was a very specific routine of people working throughout the week, in the morning, commuting in the evening, and then as the weekend approached, we were going out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Eva, is that still the case in Las Vegas?
I've noticed in Vegas during the week we slow down. Like right now, the strip is pretty slim to none. Now later tonight through Sunday, then we get much more busier. Here we have a lot of locals here. People are going, of course, to the store, to work, or to a friend's house. So it has stayed steady here for like the last 30 days. And it's definitely gotten busy. Like there's not a day that in the last 3 weeks, have been massively busy for me here in Las Vegas.
Okay, so it may be a more traditional like city location, Dennis. Is that the case? When is the peak driving time for your market?
Well, I feel like for the past month, things have slowly increased in terms of traffic and people getting back to work, because a few of the things have opened up here because we're in phase 2 now. So a lot of people are starting to go back to work. But most of the areas that are busy for here in Seattle, I would say, is kind of near the downtown area, because a lot of the people who live in our downtown district don't own vehicles, and so a lot of them take ride shares to and from work. But I haven't really driven the weekend, like the Friday nights, Saturday nights. I've only been doing like the morning commutes. So I've been taking people to the airports lately. So people are starting to travel more. I'm starting to see people visiting from other states as well. And so typically in the morning is our most busiest, I would say. And then in the afternoons, mid-noons, or people just running essential errands, let's just going to the store, going to medical appointments, and then later in the evening, people visit their family and whatnot.
So yeah, I mean, that's interesting. Dersu, do you like still aim to be out there on Friday night? Like, how is it for your market?
In LA, what I would recommend the drivers coming back is look at the string bonuses, look at the times. That will give you a major indication of when Lyft thinks that the peak times are. It's not always so, even though they'll advertise them and kind of know maybe when the peak times are going to be. It's not like like it was before, for obvious reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but it has been a little bit spread out. If you work 8 hours, you're going to do okay. If you work the full 12 hours, you're going to do fairly well, I think. And what you want to do is just plan your day and stick to it. And bring your lunch with you if you can. Bring water with you.
Oh, that's a pro tip.
It's difficult to find restrooms, but if you go to
Yeah.
supermarkets, Targets, they're open now, and you can stop there and have a rest, and maybe break your day in increments of 3 hours, and use your destination mode uh, as a strategy to get you places where you're either going to stay there or it's going to shoot you back in the direction that in a place where it's going to be busy. So to answer the question is there's really no peak times, but you can pay attention to the string bonuses and just be consistent with whatever schedule you think works for you. But in my opinion, volume works better now than before. So if there's drivers that say, "Oh well, I'm only going to drive Friday and Saturday because I make most of my money those days," it may be the case now. It wasn't the case 2 months ago or 3 months ago because everything was shut down. Is it slowly coming back? Yes, but it may take longer than expected because of the fears of second waves, and people still don't have a vaccine. Until there's a vaccine, there's peace. Without a vaccine, people are going to be afraid, and they're going to come out whenever they want to come out. They're going to drink in the middle of the day. So what I've experienced is I've been picking up people from house to house because that's the way they've been partying, and not necessarily Friday and Saturday. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's excellent feedback. That's exactly what I wanted to hear from you guys. This sort of dynamic shift that it's hard to
Oh,
sort of anticipate. Yeah, go ahead.
I have another tip.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to help people. Don't be afraid to get out of your car, help put the groceries in the trunk, open the door for the lady or gentleman, or get the walking, what do you call, the walkers. Try to be active and give to people. And I know you're not going to get tips for all of them, but you're going to create a good impression. And that's what you really want, because you don't want, Lyft and Uber already develop bad reputations on their own because of the way they handle their business sometimes. But I would say, you as a driver sort of represent Lyft and Uber, but you represent yourself more. And when you help people, you help lay a foundation, and that foundation is going to help you in the future, in the road ahead. And when you're doing the groceries, when you're helping people and you're fast, you open the trunk, you get everything in, and you're on your way. You don't know how much that people appreciate that. They appreciate that a lot. And more times than none, I've gotten $5 just for doing that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But times have changed a little bit. Dennis, have you noticed like a shift in, or like how has the passenger attitude changed at all? And how so? Have you noticed?
Yeah, so I've noticed a lot of behavior changes over the course of the few months. Conversations tend to be limited to how's your day? Good, great. And pretty much some of them will either continue the conversation and ask, beyond what I do, beyond rideshare, or some of them will just sit in silence and just enjoy the ride, just play on their phone or even play on the tablet.
Hmm.
Um, but but like Dersu said, a lot of the people aren't going out like they used to anymore. They're either staying home with family or going from house to house to their friends and whatnot. Um, and I feel like most of them are kind of apprehensive on leaving. Some of them are afraid to leave their homes. They only go out just because they have to. They have to go to the store or to the doctors. But for the most part, there some of my riders tend to only go out if necessary. So just kind of depends on the day as well.
Okay. Real quick, I want to say hello to Eric has joined. He was our fifth. I think he got held up, but finally able to be on there. So, hey, Eric, thanks for being in now. Can you hear us?
Hello, Eric.
All right. Well, let's see if he'll get back. In the meantime, Eva, I want to know the same kind of question, but Dennis sort of alluded to it. How's the tablet experience? This isn't all about Octopus, but I'm just curious. Do people, are they playing it? Are they engaging in it? Is it helping with your passenger experience in this kind of different time?
Yes, it definitely is. People do get in and they do play it. I think what would be unique with the tablet experience is if they're on both headrests, especially when the screens are playing with it. It seems like, when you see that one and it's kind of bright and they're seeing the reviews. If I think it's cool, like when you're in the back of someone else's back of their vehicle or like driving and you see like TV screens, it's an eye catcher. Like sometimes people get in just behind me and they'll just kind of look over at the tablet. But I think it would be cool if there were two tablets on the headrest. I think it would be like one of those things that'd make, like, if there's two passengers in the back, it'd make them both engage in both, the tablets.
Well, I know
But
that
I
our
mean,
team is working on some new developments to, get some multi-engagement and everything like that. But it sounds like there's hasn't been a lot of hesitation still from your passengers to touch the device. Is that true, Dersu? Same thing, Dennis? People don't mind touching it?
I would say half of them don't mind, the other half don't want to touch it.
Is that
They don't
different
want to play
than
with it.
before?
Before, everybody got in and at least touched it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they're more reserved. They don't want to. I noticed that most of them will play it, but very few will enter their email or phone number.
Okay. And
So
oh, look, I think we've got Eric is officially joined. How are you, man?
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm so sorry.
No
I didn't
worries. No worries. We're just talking about the passenger attitude right now. So Eric is from Austin, Texas. Real fast, everybody that's watching. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for being part of it. He has been driving the whole time too. But so let's get you right into it, Eric. What we were talking about is the passenger attitude and the tablet itself. Have you felt compelled to still talk about the tablet? Do your passengers play it anyway? Is there a touching hesitation that you've noticed at all?
They love it, man. They go directly at it, especially the night crowd.
Even during the pandemic?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the bars are back open in Austin. I don't know how it is in other states, but it's 25% capacity at the bars here in Texas, and it's 50% capacity at the restaurants. So people are coming out,
People are starting to feel it. All right, that's great to know. And So do you, Eva, do you like feel energized to like, do you feel like required to keep the energy up for your passenger, I guess is my question.
I think they got cabin fever. I think they're ready to come out. You know?
Yeah.
Look at all the protests going on, but yeah.
No problem. Eva, what about you? You think the same thing?
I always keep the energy up. You always have to start with that initial energy in the beginning as soon as they hit the car, because that plays a part in the rest of the ride. So you always have to keep that energy up just from the gate, from out the gate.
Dennis, you're a very social person. I know that too. Do you like lead the conversation? Do you try and stay away from topics about the pandemic?
I always try to be a positive or greet the passengers positively and kind of give that energy like everyone else in the beginning. And I'll try to gauge the passengers from there, kind of see if they want to continue the conversation. And if they seem interested, then I'll continue on and see how they want to lead the conversation, because I'd rather not lead the passenger. I'd rather have them kind of, you know, speak about what they're comfortable with.
Right. And Dersu, you're like the resident therapist, I think. Is that how you?
Okay, I'm gonna disagree a little bit with Eva. I'm gonna agree a little bit with Dennis. I'm gonna keep this simple for everybody coming back to rideshare. This is my opinion. Yes, have a positive hello. Hey, hi, how are you? You know, is your name this or that? But I would say if you want to make money, which everybody wants to do, I would say just keep your mouth closed and drive safely and don't speed. And of course, if somebody wants to talk, you can talk. But like Dennis said, you don't want to leave them on, especially in LA. I mean, maybe other states are different, but LA, you never know what you're gonna get. And you know, sometimes people will find any kind of excuse not to give you 5 stars. If you want to have 5 stars, yes, you know, hi, how are you? You know, thanks for boarding my car, or it's a nice day. And if they don't say anything, don't say anything back. Just keep your mouth closed, drive safely, check your navigation, check your destination. Don't go to alleys, don't go to side streets, check the address, finish the job. You're gonna get 5 stars every single time.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get fancy, you know, maybe you can have some amenities, some candies. I don't do that because people will leave trash, and you're gonna have to work, you know, extra hard cleaning up because some people don't care. All they want to do is get to a spot, and also because maybe they're having a bad day, and they want to take it out on anybody that crosses their path. You're just a driver. You know, you're a good person, but if you want to have a 5 ratings, just, you know, say hello. Hey, how are you? Okay. If you want to check the destination, fine. But you know, hey, hi, how are you? Great.
Eric,
Okay.
I see you shifting a little bit there. What's your thoughts on that? How do you greet your passengers?
You know, just never talk about politics or religion. That's mine. I've been doing it 5 years and never
Don't
talk.
And don't talk about COVID-19 either. Sorry to interrupt.
No. That's what I'm curious about. Like when it comes up, you guys say never, never, never. How do you say never? Do you say never to your passengers? Like, sorry, don't talk about that?
No, I mean, just try to avoid it. Try to change the subject. It's never good to talk about the pandemic, politics.
He's
and I'm
right.
sorry, Eric. I don't
what do
mean
you
to
do,
interrupt.
Eric?
Go ahead.
I the same as him. I try to shrug it off a little bit, you know, or I agree with them. Yeah. No matter what, you know, you don't want to get any confrontation like that over politics or religion. You're just trying to take them to point A to point B.
Yeah, and Eva, I mean, in this moment in time, do you have any, you know, like personal sort of, you know, things that you want to say about, you know, Black Lives Matter or anything like that? We'd love to hear your thoughts on that while we're talking about it.
Well, you know, you're going to get all kinds of people, but, you know, nine times out of 10, the tourists that come here, and when you take an Uber ride or a Lyft ride, you already know that you're taking the chance of having black, white, Japanese, Korean, you're already taking the chance of knowing that there's going to be a certain different type of individual that you're going to take a ride with. Yes, that you do have some people that, are weird. And have weird reactions, but that's anywhere you go, whether it's in a ride or in a store or whatever. I don't have any discrimination. I don't see color. I'm just me. Like you said, like I said in the beginning, I just when I feel the energy of the person, I right off the back, I let them know, hey, how you doing? Like he said earlier, if they don't talk, then I won't talk. I do whatever. I don't engage in the politic world. And I mean, a lot of people, they do get in, they talk about politics, protest, Trump. They say what they want. I just nod my head. I don't have a lot of opinion about really a whole lot of it. Of
Mhm.
course, you say with COVID, yeah, we hope it goes away, but this may be the new normal, and it is what it is.
Yeah, makes
People do
sense.
want to talk about it because it's what shook our whole world up right now, and it's something we're dealing with. What can we do about it? The media has really hyped it up. I'm not saying don't take it serious. Half of what we're already doing as far as the extra sanitizing, I'm a germaphobe. I've been practicing that my whole life,
Yeah.
so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys, you're all on this call because you've been out there. So, like, after a 3 month continuous existence outside, there's validity in what you say about your opinions about how to approach the COVID and all that stuff. And just
Mhm.
in terms of the current events and that sort of thing, Dennis, you are in a city that has some pretty specific demonstrations. Does that impact, like, when you know about a demonstration happening just in general, like, does it impact your decision to drive, to take a ride a certain location, anything like that?
Yeah, so there have been a lot of recent demonstrations and protests here in Seattle. And if I know ahead of time that there's going to be a protest that's going to shut off the freeway or certain parts of the roads, then I'll try to avoid those areas or just not drive in general, just for my safety and others out there. Um, I just want to feel like I don't want to be in the way of that demonstration, because there have been times where I've driven to an area where they were marching, and it was just difficult to navigate. For example, I was taking someone to the hospital and we were stuck in the middle of the march, so it was difficult to get around. So I typically try to avoid it if I can.
Hmm. Eric, Austin is a pretty active city as well, just in terms of the city itself and the state that it's in. Same question to you. What's your opinion about when you know a demonstration or something big is happening in your city?
So pretty much all the demonstrations are on the east side of the city. I try to stay on the west side,
So you really do avoid them? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much, because they're
Hmm.
pretty bad. They were blocking the freeways and everything. So I stay pretty much just away from the police headquarters and places where they're protesting.
Yeah. Dersu,
Really,
oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say the first weekend was pretty violent, but now it's a little bit more peaceful, so it's not as much of a big deal.
Yeah, you're Dersu. I was going to say you're a hustler. You like to be out there and get those fares. Like have you been in the middle of a demonstration while you're driving?
I hit 4 barricades. I got lucky. I got past the big demonstration going down Highland in West Hollywood. Uh, my advice to people is don't be afraid. If you don't do anything out of the ordinary, you're fine. Drive around if there's barricades, drive around them. Don't be afraid of the police. I mean, the police is there to protect and serve. Even the National Guard, I run into the National Guard, but they're just people like us. And if you're not afraid and you're not aggressive and you're just doing your job and you make eye contact with them and just kind of ask them, hey, where do you want me to go? Left, right, and just follow directions, and you'll be fine. But it's better to avoid it. Somebody told me about an app called Citizen that basically tells you what's going on and where to be, and or if you want to be participate in the demonstrations. And I think that could be helpful for people coming back if they really want to know what's going on. They can check the news, check apps that tell them the information, and avoid the hotspots. Use your destination mode to take you to places where you know you're going to be safe and you're going to have a nice day. If you're worried, if you're like me and you don't really mind, just drive around, find a new route, but don't worry that much. I mean, I've been in South Central, and not necessarily demonstration, but during days where people were emotionally charged, and I've had like kids just come out to my car and start banging on the outside of the car. But you know what? They were not really damaging my car, so I wasn't too concerned, and I didn't say anything to them. But I understand the situation and why they feel how they feel. I wasn't necessarily afraid, but I would tell people coming back, don't be afraid. Just drive around and be smart and check the news. Check the maybe the Citizen app is good.
Stay
They give you some good
informed, use
information.
the Citizen app. I like that Citizen app. Well, thank you guys. All right, we're going to wrap it up here in just a second. I want to know, since you guys have all been out there on the road, we'll go around circle, I'll say your names, but better, worse, same, your earnings. How have you been doing, Dennis, in terms of since the pandemic has started? What have you noticed about your earnings?
Well, when the pandemic hit around March 22nd or so, it took a huge hit. I think once things started shutting down, I was probably getting maybe 5 rides a day, just depending on the day. And, my average was anywhere from like 20, 60 bucks. That's like a full day here in Seattle, 8 hours. So now, I think it's gotten a lot better. My earnings have, I would say, significantly. I don't want to throw out a specific amount because it's going to change, but I'd say it's gotten a lot better. I would say I average anywhere from like 20 to 30 an hour just on some days.
That's fantastic.
So yeah.
All right, thank you. That's good. Eric, how about you down in Texas?
Yeah, March through May, I mean, it was really dead. I'd be lucky to have about 10 trips. But now people are finally starting to come out. Saturday, I did 42 trips in a day. But during the weekdays, it is a hit or a miss. Like today, it's been pretty dead. I was driving earlier. But
Okay.
I think people are finally starting to come out.
Do you notice, we didn't really talk about this, but has tipping attitude changed at all for you?
People are coming back. People are tipping very well, actually, yeah. During March through May, nobody was tipping. Everybody's had their uncertainty, and I understand, But yeah, I think now people are starting to come out, and people have money, and people are starting to work a little bit more.
Sounds good. Dersu, how about you? How's your earnings been?
Well, May was good.
May was good.
June, it's been slowly decreasing. The strict bonuses are not as predominant as they used to be. I think last couple of weeks they were great, and they also, you can couple them with the the bonus squares, the bonus locations. So you were actually earning close to $30 an hour, which I thought was great. But this past week, and this week, not so much. So what's been going on is very strange to me, because you could say, well, a lot of people are out. So why is Lyft making me drive, 10 to 15 miles, spend 10 to 15 minutes to earn $3? It's ridiculous. And I think a lot of smart drivers are saying, oh, I don't want this, canceling, and then it goes to the next driver, and by that time the customers are not happy. Is right. the easiest way I can say this.
Oh, I see. So
And
it's a trickle down effect.
you get the call saying, hey, where the heck are you? And if you read it as a bad customer, you're
Mhm.
going to cancel it too, because you don't need the bad rating.
Huh.
That has actually gone down a little bit. So I think it's better now. Not sure. Are they worse? I don't think so.
So it
Are they
kind of
going to
all
get
circles
better?
back to the attitude that of when people get in, right? That's what informs you getting their groceries and all that stuff. Like maybe they've had a couple drivers cancel them before you get there to their destination. I got to keep
Well,
that in mind.
I think Lyft has made some changes as far as the queue and who's next and what rides get automatically assigned to the driver. And it seemed like this past week they were doing something very strange, wasting uh, not the past week but the week before, wasting a lot of the driver's time. And now has corrected a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing I wanted to tell people is, be careful with people that request multiple stops. Why? Because half of them are going to waste your time. And if you're doing a stop for somebody for more than 5 minutes, uh, you know, I would say just wait it out, because if you don't cancel the ride, you're gonna get a bad rating, and or they're gonna complain about you, and you could be shut off, deactivated. So it happened to me twice, and the complaint was that they think that I was drinking alcohol, and I lost a whole day of earning because of the complaint,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to wait more than 5 minutes for a passenger. So in retrospect, I would have rather wait the extra 5 or 10 minutes, earn 11 cents a minute, but be able to finish my day and have a better outcome. But because people are people, they basically said the worst thing they could say. And I had to call the security team and tell them, hey, look, I'm diabetic. I don't drink. I
Yeah.
haven't had a drink in
Sorry that
years. I don't even
happened.
eat sugar.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously the point is to try and create the best passenger experience because, the rides are a little more selective.
Yeah. I
Eva,
mean,
do you, how has your earning been this time?
March flatlined. Definitely, like Dennis said, there was really nothing in March. Mid-March, like a week prior to this happening, my earnings were really, really great. But when they called the stay-at-home order, it flatlined mid-March to the end of March, the whole month of April. First week of May, it slightly picked up, and then as each week went by in May, it started to pick back up, and I started to see a definitely bigger increase. But this for June has been the best these last, like I told you,
Mhm.
this has been the best 3 weeks in my driving history.
Wow. Whoa.
This past week, last week, um, from Monday to this past Sunday, I've been driving for Lyft and Uber almost 5 years. It'll be this year, and this past week has been my best week I've ever had, ever.
So, wow. I mean, let's take that
congratulations.
very positive, sort of announcement and use that momentum to wrap this up. Congratulations to all of you for, doing an essential service this entire time. That's been amazing. And what I, as a non-driver, actually have taken away from the point of having you guys on is, look, there's a lot of information out there, a bunch of different ways, but if you're taking the right precautions and making sure that your passengers are feeling safe and comforted in your vehicle, be out on the road if you need to, right? People are getting back out there. I think that we can all sort of conclude that the sentiment is begin to drive again, right? If you've got that opportunity, if you've got that time, let's see you back out on the road, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let me just say, Dennis, Dersu, Ava, Eric, thank you guys all so much for your insight, your inputs, your service, and your partnership in our company. It all means so much to us. And you sharing this wisdom really does help a lot. So hopefully our drivers took away something from it. We'll be pushing it out through our different channels. We'll be sharing it with our advertising partners as well. They care very much about the brand that they are partnered with. So your faces specifically, but as the general driver population representatives, you are you're doing good work, not only driving, but with your voices and your information. So thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate your time. Take care.
All right.
Thank you, Alex.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
See you later.